Let's go to Capitol Hill. Congressman Adam Kinzinger, who has not endorsed Donald Trump yet, but is a Republican. The congressman is with me now for the real story on that. Congressman, why the wait?
Well, look, I always say I'm an American before I'm a Republican, and as we've been talking about, there's been a lot of things that Donald has said that's concerning, obviously, the judges. Hopefully that's getting put behind him. My big concern is issues of foreign policy, discussion of the role of the United States in the world, the role of Russia, things along that line. I'd like to get to where I can. I'm not a never Trump guy. I'd like to get to where I can support him. But one of my hope is that in this process, like with the judge, that Donald Trump learns that, you can have fire, you can be passionate, you can, tap into that anger of the Americans, but you also have to be presidential and unite people. And so I hope we get to that point.
Okay. A lot of people thought that his speech Tuesday night was very presidential. Of course, he was on the teleprompter, and so words were written down for him. There wasn't a lot of ad-libbing. And then it came out yesterday, a report that he's narrowed down his VP picks to 5 people, potentially. Some of them his former rivals who wanted to be the nominee. Would the VP pick make a big difference for you as far as liking Trump more?
I think it could make a difference. Typically a VP pick for somebody doesn't determine whether or not they're going to get a lot more votes. We've seen that historically in presidential elections. Where it could have an impact with me is if it's somebody that's an expert in foreign policy that understands, again, that America, the world needs America, but America needs the world as well. It's a two-way street. And that person could then exert some influence on the administration. And so I think it could have an impact. It'll be interesting who he ends up picking, and we're going to find out soon, it seems like.
Well, okay, let me give you some names who I think might be on the short list. John Kasich, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Chris Christie, former rivals. But
yeah.
He also said 2 military people. Who might they be?
Well, you look, obviously you have Petraeus, you have a bunch of unnamed people that have been great leaders, great generals. General Mattis was a Marine Corps general, fantastic guy. These are people that could potentially be there, potentially serving that. I think, of the 4 names you mentioned, great. Of potentially 2 generals, if they've served their country honorably, which they obviously have, those good too. But I think Donald Trump, frankly, needs to have somebody with that foreign policy experience, because a president really almost has unchecked power in foreign policy. We can allocate resources here. We can do senses of Congress. We can take trips to visit people diplomatically. But the president has a lot of weight.
All right. And speaking of the president, we are awaiting, as you can see, one of the boxes at the top of your screen there. We're awaiting the president's spokesperson conference that's going to be coming up with Josh Earnest any moment now, waiting to see what he has to say about the endorsement of Hillary Clinton today. Congressman, before I let you go, it appears that today there's been some coalescing of unity within the Democratic Party, kind of. Should that also happen now, and I'm asking you since you're a Republican and you're still on the fence, should that happen now in the Republican Party behind Donald Trump?
It should, but it's really on Donald Trump to do that. Really, when you're the front runner, it's up to you to unite the party. You're seeing this with Hillary, with Bernie. She's reaching out to Bernie's supporters, and so they're going to have their big unity moment. That's on Trump. We all want to support the Republican nominee. I want to. I'm never going to support Hillary. There's no doubt about that. But it's on him. And I think, tone is important. Foreign policy and things along that line. For me, as a private citizen that happens to be a congressman, that happens to be able to be on TV and talk about it.
All right, Congressman, thanks for your real story today. We should mention that Donald Trump has said he will announce his VP pick at the convention. That starts July 18th. So, Congressman, good to see you.
Yeah, you bet. You too. See ya.
Let's steal back.